Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter. Hi there guys, it's Adam Martin here, and welcome back to another instalment of the Now Review, and it's quite a special spin-off this time, quite a unique spin-off. We're taking a look at Now, that's what I call HMV. Now, the tagline of this suggests it's 100 legendary artists celebrating 100 years of HMV because, of course, in case you have missed it, 2021 marks 100 years that HMV, His Master's Voice, has been operating as a store, catering music and movies and video games at one point, and a bunch of other collectible tat now that we see. But yeah, HMV is 100 years old, and it's managed to survive, just in some cases. So it seems Now That's What I Call Music has decided to team up, and we have this album as a result. I was thrilled about this. I mean, as you guys know, I love Now Music, and I also love HMV, like, as a brand, as a store, what they stand for, etc. So to see these two meet and collaborate, I think is pretty nice. The cover's pretty nice too, obviously mixing in the pink logo of HMV with some nice purple hues as well on this front cover. You can see Nipper there on the front with the gramophone, which is of course the HMV logo. It's a shame they didn't incorporate, if you remember the promos for this, it incorporated the pig from the Now brand, like sort of squaring off against Nipper. It would have been cool to see the pig on this as well, but hey, this is the HMV album. I kind of get that they just wanted to focus on Nipper. But of course, the tagline, again, 100 legendary artists celebrating 100 years of HMV. Does that tagline live up to it? Well, I think it's time we twizzle on over to the all-important track list and find out. So we have 5 discs, the first time in quite a while we've had a 5-disc release. So let's go through this track list and let's see what we have. Right, so on CD1, Queen, Don't Stop Me Now. I mean, yeah, legendary artist, I'll give you that, absolutely. Philip Bailey and Phil Collins, Easy Lover. I mean, great song, but I don't know if I'd have just picked a Phil Collins song for this. I'm not sure about that collaboration, but hey-ho, it's there. Meatloaf with Cher, Dead Ringer for Love. Again, not the Meatloaf song I would have chosen, nor the Cher song. I get, doing the duets is a surefire way to get as many artists on this album as possible, but is it the one I would have chosen? Probably not. Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer. Well, yeah, I'd put that on there, absolutely. Eurythmics, which is, of course, Annie Lennox and Dave Stewart, with Thorn in My Side. Where's Sweet Dreams, maybe? I don't know. Thorn in My Side. Great song, but again, not too sure. Rod Stewart with Maggie May, of course, that was on... Was that on the first Now? Rod Stewart did have a hit on the first Now, but, it's there. And Robbie Williams with Angels. I mean, yeah, this song, everyone loves Angels, one of the most iconic songs of the 90s, early 2000s. Kind of get why it's here. Just jump into CD2 for a sec. You've got John and Yoko with Instant Karma, We All Shine On. Just some very interesting choices here. Paul McCartney and Wings, Live and Let Die. I mean, yeah, it's a Bond theme. It's a big one. I'm not surprised, really. Manic Street Preachers, Designed for Life. I'm glad they got a feature here, actually. The Killers with Mr. Brightside. How could you not? That thing has been in the charts forever and is still a banger. U2 with Beautiful Day. I mean, yeah, maybe not what everyone would have picked, but it's one of my favourite U2 songs, so I'll vouch for it happily. Coldplay with Paradise, probably their most radio-friendly hit. Maybe I would have picked some of their others, I'm not sure. Oasis with Wonderwall. If Oasis weren't going to feature on here, there would have been Outcry. Out of all the songs, Wonderwall, I suppose it kind of makes sense. Jumping over to CD2 again, you have Tina Turner, What's Love Got to Do With It? Great song from her. Mary J. Blige with Family Affair. You've got The Weeknd with Can't Feel My Face, one of his more radio-friendly hits, if you like. Lady Gaga with Bad Romance, one of her best songs for definite. Blondie with Heart of Glass. Kylie Minogue with Can't Get You Out of My Head, one of her most iconic songs. Billie Eilish with Bad Guy. Lana Del Rey and Video Games. Elvis Presley and Suspicious Minds. Probably one of the oldest songs we have here. Suspicious Minds, I think that was in the 60s for Elvis. Keep in mind, this is celebrating 100 years of HMV, so in theory, we should get some songs from as far back as the 1920s, but this is the furthest back so far. I haven't gone beyond the 60s just yet. Back to CD2, if you look, you've got the Kinks with Waterloo Sunset, Bob Dylan with Subterranean Homesick Blues, nice choice. The Stone Roses with Fool's Gold, of course. Soul to Soul, Back to Life, yeah, that had to be there, didn't it? Niles Barkley with Crazy, one of the biggest hits of the 2000s, as was Hey Ya by Outkast. Hey Ya? Bloody hell, what am I, a Tory? Hey Ya by Outkast, which was again a big hit of the 2000s. Amy Winehouse with Rehab, nice to have her here. Paloma Faith with New York. Again, not the song I would have picked. Dusty Springfield with Son of a Preacher Man, one of her most iconic ones. I would have picked something else, but my favourite Dusty songs are some of the more deep cuts, so I guess it makes sense that one's here in this case. Back to CD1 with track 17, you've got Martha Reeves and the Vandellas with Dancing in the Street, great song. The Supremes, some Motown here, with Stop in the Name of Love. More Motown to close off, you've got the Jackson 5 with I Want You Back, of course one of their most iconic songs, and Stevie Wonder with My Cherie Amour closing off disc 1. Nice, you got a little Motown flurry with the last few songs there, and again, all songs from around the 1960s, so we are going back. Moving on back to CD2, you got Breakout by Swing Out Sister, Keen with Somewhere Only We Know, wonderful song. I think I would have put Everybody's Change in, but I guess people know Somewhere Only We Know a bit more. Rag and Bone Man with Human, and George Ezra with Budapest, which rounds off CD2. So 40 tracks so far. Let's now move on, see what we've got on CDs 3 and 4. Okie dokie, so CD3, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Relax. Yeah, of course that's going to be here. Big song, one of the best of the 80s. The Human League, Don't You Want Me? Again, great 80s song there. Definitely a pick. Soft Cell with Tainted Love. Duran Duran with Girls on Film. Aha with Take On Me. If that wasn't there, there'd be riots. Tears for Fears with Everybody Wants to Rule the World, probably their most iconic song. Culture Club, Karma Chameleon. Yeah, you could have had a few, but Karma Chameleon makes the most sense. Just jump to CD4 for a sec. Kate Bush, Wuthering Heights. Excellent choice. Love a bit of Kate Bush. ABBA, Knowing Me, Knowing You. Obviously a great song from them. I'm surprised. Knowing Now, I thought they would have gone with like Dancing Queen or Mamma Mia, but yeah, great that we got Knowing Me, Knowing You. Elton John and Kiki D, Don't Go Breaking My Heart. There's definitely a 70s theme going on CD4. ELO with a Living Thing. If Mr. Blue Sky isn't on here, then, well, call me surprised. The Beach Boys, Good Vibrations, one of their best. Simon and Garfunkel with Mrs. Robinson, one of their best songs, definitely. Back to CD1, you got Kim Wilde, Kids in America, ace song. Adam and the Ants, Stand and Deliver. Sweet with Ballroom Blitz. And Roxy Music with Virginia Plain. Do I know that one? I might know it if I heard it. Status Quo, Rockin' All Over the World. Again, great song for them. Celine Dion, All By Myself, one of her best songs for sure. Just back to CD2 now, so you've got Aretha Franklin with I Say a Little Prayer. I thought Respect would be on here, but alas, maybe not. Diane Warwick with Walk On By, makes sense. Benny King, Stand By Me. Marvin Gaye, Heard It Through the Grapevine. Roy Orbison with In Dreams. Not the Roy Orbison song I had expected, but hey, it's there. Ian Drury and the Blockheads with Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick. Why on earth they decided to put Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick out of all of the disco songs? You chose Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick. Yes, good job. Moving on back to CD3, you've got Leona Lewis with Bleeding Love, big hit of the 2000s, of course. Girls Aloud with The Promise, equally big hit. Little Mix with Black Magic. One Direction with What Makes You Beautiful. I know they'd make an appearance. Didn't want it to be that song, but hey, it's there. Justin Bieber with Sorry, thought he'd pop up as well. Take That with How Deep Is Your Love. Interesting choice. Of all the Take That songs, you chose their cover of a Bee Gees song. Not for me, I don't think. Lewis Capaldi with Someone You Loved rounds off CD20, which, okay, yeah, one of the biggest hits of the late 2010s. I'll let it slide, even though we're all sick to death of it a little bit, aren't we? Back to CD4, you've got the Boomtown Rats with Rat Trap. Suey and the Banshees with Hong Kong Garden. You've got the Pretender with Brass in Pocket. The Police with Roxanne. Makes sense, that's there. The Clash with Should I Stay or Should I Go? Probably their most iconic song. The Jam with Start. Okay, getting a bit of, more, what am I thinking? Mod rocky sort of thing, that late 70s, early 80s vibe. New Order with True Faith. Yes, it makes sense, that's there. And The Cure with Close to Me. That rounds off CD4. Okay, so we've covered 80 tracks. Time to look at the last 20. Okay, so CD5, last but not least. You've got Donna Summer, I Feel Love. Yes, Queen of Disco. Chic with Le Freak. Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive. You can tell there's a disco flair on this one. Barry White with The First, The Last, My Everything. Earth, Wind and Fire with Do You Remember? It's September, of course, had to be there. The B-52s with Love Shack. I need to stop singing these. The Black Eyed Peas with I Got a Feeling. That was a hard see. I resisted there. Yeah, that's a big hit of the 21st century. That had to be there. Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars, Uptown Funk, of course. Calvin Harris and Sam Smith, Promises. Out of all of the Calvin Harris hits, don't know, I would have picked Promises. I probably would have picked something else, but, hey-ho, it's there. Dua Lipa with New Rules, guess that makes sense. Pink with So What, great Pink song there. Billy Joel with Uptown Girl, surprise, surprise. Dexy's Midnight Runners, Come On Eileen. Madness with Baggy Trousers. The Spice Girls with Wanna Be, I was wondering if they pop up. Same with this one, Britney, Baby One More Time. Jennifer Lopez with On The Floor, No Rap. It states no rap, sorry Pitbull, you're not making the cut this time. Shakira with Wherever. That's my awful Shakira impression for you. Lionel Richie with Dancing on the Ceiling. Great choice. And the final song that closes off this album is Whitney Houston and I Wanna Dance With Somebody. A fantastic song. Glad that closes it off. So there you go. 100 tracks. So what are we thinking? Okay, so I'll give my full thoughts on the track list in a moment, but let's open this bad boy up. So as you can see on the left, it says also available is Now That's What I Call 12-inch 80s Extended, and Now That's What I Call Gold. Both of these we've had Now reviews on, so you can go and check those out. Also follow Now on all their social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all the big boys of the playing field. Let's see if I can open this. Ah, nice to see they've kept it in the cardboard sleeve style. Helps the environment, of course, very important. So disc 1 is very pink. Yes, you can see it's very pink. Disc 2 is very black, embodying the HMV colours. Oh, we're going with this pattern, are we? So disc 3 is also very pink. Oh, no, disc 4 is white. Okay, and then disc 5 is black. Very odd colour selection there. You can just see on the fringes there. Interesting. I mean, yeah, the colours look great because, I mean, they are the HMV colours, but yeah, just odd placing. There are subtle differences as well if you look at the logos, but hey, not bad disc designs. I'll give them that. And oh, look at that. See? Own the celebration. Happy 100 HMV. I did a video recently covering some of the examples of HMV merch for the anniversary you can pick up, so you should definitely check that out if you're curious. And of course, follow HMV on all their socials as well. You get a lot of good information, a lot of access on deals as well, or pre-orders. It's quite good. So that's the album, 100 tracks. I've got to say, if you're saying you're celebrating 100 years of HMV, why not celebrate 100 years of music? I mean, the furthest this goes back, I think there's one or two songs that maybe were from the late 50s, early 60s. There's definitely 60s songs on there, but, you know, there's no representation of the 1920s, 30s, 40s, and largely the 50s. And I partly get why they do that, you know, for, like, pop music. If you like popular music, there's not a lot of people, well, maybe older people, but there's not a lot of younger people necessarily who would maybe buy this album for really old music, you know, stuff from 100 years ago. But I just think it's a bit of a small cop-out to say you're celebrating 100 years, implying you're going to get 100 years worth of music, and it's not there. You're only getting about 50, 60. But nevertheless, what we do have, it is a great track list, don't get me wrong. It's a fantastic track list. For the most part, they've really chosen well with the songs that represent each artist. There's some great choices. There are some puzzling ones as well. I did mention that when we looked down the track list, but I'm saying that as, you know, they're songs that I wouldn't necessarily choose to represent an artist on a compilation like this, but I will give Now credit for veering outside the box with a lot of these. I just think it is nice to have the change, but of all the albums to make that change, it's funny how they did it with this one. But then HMV, more that I think about it, does celebrate all avenues of music, so I guess like most of these, but I think now more than ever, if you like the track list, if you like what you see here, this is the album for you. If you're a big fan of HMV or you collect their merch, their stuff, obviously you need to get this. I believe this is exclusive to HMV. I think you can only get it from HMV itself, whether that's in store or online. As far as I know, I could be wrong, but I don't think you can get this from places like Amazon. I don't think you can get it in the supermarkets. This is just a HMV product, which makes absolute sense. So if you want it, hit up your latest HMV, go support them and pick this up. However, some people will say there's a lot of other Now compilations that cover, you know, the last 50 years of pop music that have a lot of these tracks on there. I double check the track list because, again, there are some odd choices, but some different choices. So if you want different, maybe pick this up. But if not, you can stay well away. It retails at HMV, I believe, for £10.99, which for a 5-disc album these days, I'd say that's pretty darn good. So worth your money, and if you think it's worth your time, definitely one to pick up. But that's all for this installment of the Now Review. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like on this video. Really helps us out. And let me know in the comments down below. Are you going to pick up this album? Are you going to help celebrate HMV's 100th with this? Or are you going to pass? Are you going to celebrate some other way? Or are you just not interested? Let me know in the comments. I've been Adam Martin from AMTV. Thank you very much for watching, folks. Happy 100 to HMV. And I'll see you next time. Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show. And a special thank you to Macra, Hooks Media, Ben Freeman, Ethan Carberry-Holt, Bruce Danton, The Broken Kitsumanoid, Tobos Krotz, Polsky Liz, Globe of Reviews, Trev Hughes, and Kevin Aikman, our AMTV staff members.